Hey everyone, Couch Investor back with another video for you today. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone that is celebrating. In today's video, we're going to talk about Slack stock and the potential acquisition by Salesforce. Some of you might know 2 weeks ago, I talked about Slack and why ARK has been building up their position heavily in the recent weeks. Maybe they knew something about a potential acquisition, maybe not, I don't know. But for everybody that has been buying Slack recently, well, yesterday was a pretty good day because the stock is back over $40. So great job. We're going to look at the graph real soon. We're going to talk at the potential scenarios and why Salesforce would like to buy and should buy a company like Slack, what it would mean for us, the shareholder. We're going to talk about all of that in this video. But before I do so, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 6,000 subscribers. And if you like these videos, leave it an early thumbs up as it really helps me out grow the channel and get my videos out there. So without further ado, let's look at the graphs. Alright, so as we can see right here, yesterday, huge green candle up 37.8% after the news came out that Salesforce might be acquiring Slack in the near future. Whether or not this is going to happen, we don't know. Right now, it's a buy the rumors, sell the news type of scenario. We're going to talk about that in this video actually. So right now, we've actually reached a all-time high, well, close to the other one back in June. And obviously, when the stock first became public, it also jumped over the $40. What I would think that would happen in the next coming trading days is that maybe the stock might go and retract under the $40 because, well, some people might start and speculate maybe the deal is not going to happen, maybe it is going to happen. We still don't know the price of the acquisition. So all of that you should be taking into consideration. Right, so why would a company like Salesforce, which is worth $224 billion, which is 10 times as big as Slack, buy a company like Slack? Because some of you might know, Salesforce is this huge corporate company, cloud-based software company that sells CRM software. And Slack is basically this little internal communication software platform that big and especially smaller tech companies are acquiring. So we're going to look at a little article by TechCrunch. Right, so Slack stock climbs on possible Salesforce acquisition, which is really funny because Salesforce stock actually plunged 5% or so. They actually write it also right here. Shares of Salesforce are trading lower on the news, falling around 3.5% at the time of writing. Right now, it's a bit more than that. Investors in a San Francisco-based software service pioneer were either unimpressed at the combination idea or perhaps worried about the price that would be required to bring the 2019 IPO into their fold. That second point is something we're going to talk about a bit later. Now, something interesting this analyst here said is that Slack would actually give Salesforce a sticky revenue source, something they are consistently searching for to keep their revenue engine rumbling around. Now, Slack could be a good candidate to strengthen its platform, but more importantly, account for more usage and stickiness of Salesforce products, as collaboration not only matters for CRM, which is Salesforce, but also for the vendor's growing Slack platform. And he ended by saying that it could be a way to stick it to former friend turned foe Microsoft, because some of you might know, Microsoft and Salesforce battled it out to acquire LinkedIn, and Microsoft actually acquired LinkedIn, so Salesforce took a loss on that, and maybe they want payback by acquiring Slack. All right, so going back to the question to why Slack would be a good acquisition for Salesforce. Well, first up, we have the stickiness of the product. Those that are using Slack will keep on using. There's also high engagement, I think around 10 hours a day. So that's pretty high. Those that are using it and using it more and more because of my second point, which is the integrations that you can do with Slack, whether it's sales, marketing, whatever. Everything can be done via Slack. It's just not only a communication platform where you can send messages to each and every channel in your organization. You can work with organizations outside your own organizations. We talked about all of that in my last video. So imagine if Salesforce would just integrate Slack with the whole workflow right now, whether it's the CRM, the sales workflow, etc. Probably a lot of companies are already working with Slack and Salesforce. So right now would be 2 for the price of 1. But what they could do is acquire Slack and let them operate independently under obviously the whole Salesforce network, but keep both companies separated. For example, a bit like what Microsoft did with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is still LinkedIn and Microsoft is still Microsoft. Not a lot of people know that LinkedIn has been bought by Microsoft, but here we are. All right, and now let's talk about the big question, what will happen to the price of each share? So usually what happens in an acquisition deal is that the target company's share price usually goes up because, well, people start speculating that the other company will have to pay a premium price for that company, so the stock naturally goes up. And what happens with the acquiring company? Well, the shares of that company usually goes down because shareholders don't like it when their company starts spending too much, and in this case, pay a premium for a company that was worth way less just a couple of days ago. So I would expect the same thing happening here, and we've already seen that yesterday. News broke out, shares of Slack skyrocketed, shares of Salesforce went down a bit. But moving forward, even if the shares of Slack go back to around $30, $35, I would still expect a company like Salesforce to pay those $40, maybe $45, maybe even $50, who knows, to acquire that company, because like we've seen, Slack is just a company that is worth $23, $24 billion, and a deal like that will probably be around $25 to $30 billion. But hey, this is just speculations right now. Moving forward, we might actually get some details. And going back to the topic of my last video about Slack, where we talked about ARK Invest position in that company and why they've been buying this stock in a couple of their ETFs, I do believe that they knew something we didn't know, because it's no surprise that suddenly, weeks after they've been bulking up their position in Slack, there's this news coming out with Salesforce that might be acquiring Slack. So maybe, yes, maybe this would mean that a deal might actually be happening, and this is not just a rumor. Now, a deal of this size will probably take a while, so expect volatility around those two companies, whether you're an investor in Salesforce or whether you're an investor in Slack. What I will be doing with my position, and that will conclude this video, is that I will probably sell a bit for profit. Same thing that I did with Arkimoto when the stock skyrocketed around $16, $17. Some of you asked me, why would I sell when the stock is only starting to go up? Well, usually when a stock goes up in one day 69%, you usually want to take some profits and look at where the stock is today, around $14. So yes, I sold higher and now I can buy a bit cheaper. You never want to chase a stock, especially not when there are just rumors flying around a company. So that's why a lot of people say, buy the rumor, sell the news, and this is what I will be doing right now. And that will be it for this video. If you liked it, consider leaving a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. And to those of you that are celebrating today, happy Thanksgiving. And as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.